Hello.
I saw you fixing your hair.
Ah, you didn't. No, you didn't. It was only one person who logged on. It was only one person. I doubt
Hi,
you saw me fixing my hair. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, now I'm good, man. Like you look beautiful, even in your cap.
Thank you. No, because my hair is on lockdown level.
No, man, my hair. So yeah, so I was like, let me just fix my hair so that so that people can see that I'm taking this serious.
Where are you? How's life? Where have you been? What's going on?
I'm in the house, locked down, alone.
Hello.
Um, Yeah, I mean, like I took my family home. They're in the village. Yeah, which is not that nice to be quite honest.
Hmm.
But from a work perspective, I managed to get a lot of things done.
Wow,
To be
good.
fairly honest, yeah, it helped. It helped a lot. So I'm very much lucky that I have someone in my life who understands that I needed to get some stuff done. Yeah. And
Good.
how have you been?
I'm great. I mean, my house is the village, so I've got the generation before me and two generations
I
after me,
love that.
all living here together. So it's been very, very helpful. I fortunately didn't need to do so much work necessarily, but it was really nice to be able to stay home. Like since we moved,
Ah, I see.
I
I
haven't really
see.
had a chance to unpack and like kulukisa dinto. So I've been able to do that now, which is amazing.
That's nice. Like I like the fact that you are still able to put like nice earrings even you are in your house. Like
No,
you're going nowhere.
you. This is just for you. I no.
No, man, thank you so much, Sis Baby, like for agreeing to do this with me. Like in normal circumstances, you're on the other side of the table, you're asking me questions all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
I'm like, thank God, like now I'm gonna have to ask her questions that I've been wanting to ask her, but due to the nature of the programs we used to do, you were the one asking me questions, you know?
And you always gave me such good answers. So I hope I'm able to rise to the occasion as well.
I know you will. I know you will. So there are plenty of things that we can talk about. Plenty of things that we can talk about. But however, I decided that we talk about the three main things that I love so much. One is gratitude. Two is giving.
Mm,
Three is living.
mm.
So gratitude, giving, and living. So let me start with the gratitude one. So one is that I solely believe that gratitude is the foundation where abundance comes from. So I
Absolutely.
believe that abundance come from a sense of gratitude, knowing how to harness the energy of gratitude. I believe that gratitude is an energy field itself that where we can be more abundant. So, what the question that I have for you is that how has that been a part of your life? Is that something that you've been incorporating in your life? The thing of
So
gratitude.
yeah, I will start with this kind of recovery journey that I've been on for like close to 15 years now, where I started
Sure.
really peeling back a lot of the ills that have plagued me, right? So whether it's like
Ah,
insecurities or resentments or some sort of defeating thought patterns that I've had over the years.
yes.
All those years ago, I really started making the effort to break those things down. And so one thing that I hang on to a lot is the way that I speak to myself. So
Ah,
I speak to myself naturally the way that like a head coach would speak to their team, you
yeah,
go,
sure.
hit it,
Go,
hit it,
yeah.
stupid move. What did you do that for? Okay, right? Now imagine yourself speaking to yourself in that way. Like, it's bad.
No, for sure, for sure. It's
So
loud and it's toxic sometimes. Yeah,
and it's aggressive. And so what I started doing all those years ago is just changing how I speak to myself,
to
changing
yourself. Yeah.
how I speak to myself, coaching myself gently and lovingly. So fast forward to these last like 2 or 3 years, I've realized that a lot of how you speak to yourself is also incorporated in your perception of yourself. And that's kind of tied in with your gratitude, right? So if you have gratitude
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what you are able to do, forget what you're not able to do, just kind
Mm-hmm.
of,
Mm-hmm.
but ain't like I'm standing, hey, and Kishap, and
Yeah.
I may think that compared to this one or that one, it's not enough or it's not good, but I'm good. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for my health. I'm
Uh-huh.
grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Time of corona when people can't breathe and it's serious. I'm
Man.
grateful that I'm healthy, and I'm grateful that I'm able to be quarantined, or what do we, lockdown level, whatever it is, with people that I really love. I'm so grateful for that.
Exactly.
And from that point of view, then it influences then, you know, how I'm able to perceive myself. So it's a nice little
Mm.
where
It's
the
a
way,
cycle, yeah. Like it
yeah,
feeds on, like, yeah, it keeps on feeding on that, yeah.
yeah.
I
So
get that.
gratitude is really important. What I've also noticed is in partnership, if you have a relationship or in partnership with like your work environment or
Yes.
family, whatever, if you approach somebody with, geez, man, Tabane, thank you very much for this platform
Yeah.
opportunity. Immediately,
Yeah.
you want to give me more. Immediately,
That's so
you know
true.
what I mean? Immediately, you want to make it.
That's so true.
So it's also a nice seed to sow into the world, not in a manipulative way, but in a way where you realize that people just want to be seen. So I see it with
Mhm.
my toddler. You know, I give him props for like, oh my gosh, this kid must think he's like genius level 59 million, because I
Yeah.
taught him to sneeze into his elbow, no? And now
Yeah.
every time he does it, he sneezes into his elbow and then he looks at me. And so I go, wow, thank you
Ah.
for
So
doing,
he wants you to recognize that. Yeah, I see. I see.
thank you for following the rules. Oh, I'm so grateful that you're so clever. You followed the rules. Oh, that was so good what you did. Well done. And then it makes him want to do it more and more and more and more. And eventually, by the end of this year, I'm not going to have to
Yeah.
correct that behavior anymore. He's got it.
Yeah.
So the gratitude
Yeah,
works.
that's so true. And what you say with your son is the same thing that I seen with my boy as well. So I taught him this magic words thing. Like, what are the magic words? Like, sorry, I'm sorry, thank you, and please.
Peace, yeah.
So he knows about those words. So sometimes, because I taught him that, so sometimes he will do something for me. I'll be like, "Can you please give me that?" And then he'll give it to me. And after that, then he will look at me. It's like, "Daddy, what's the magic word? What's the magic word?"
Yeah, exactly.
And then yeah, and I think once we start to incorporate that level of gratitude or that sense of gratitude in our young ones, I think it's a beautiful thing, Sis Pabi, because of the world is toxic out there, hey? And imagine if Vela we have nothing to refer to in terms of us being grateful for.
Mm.
I think we're gonna find more reasons to be sad, find more reasons to be anxious, find more reasons not to be happy, because there is so much that cannot not make us happy out there.
Mm.
So I believe like this thing of gratitude is by far the biggest thing. And then
And the
the
beautiful thing
thing,
about life
yeah,
is that you're going to have times where you forget that. It's going to happen. You're going to slip. You're going to
ish,
get into
ish,
times where you just want to complain
ish,
about everything. Everything sucks. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, woe is me. Ah,
yeah,
whatever it is. Like, you're going to get into those zones. And
mm-hmm,
being able to, even in that time, when you come out of it, go, oh man, it's like a negative of a picture, black and white, right? So you
mm-hmm,
can only really recognize how powerful that mind process is when you've lost it for a little while, and you can see how dark
mm-hmm.
life became. And then you can pick yourself up again. So even being grateful for the times that you let it go and slipped up is so powerful, because nothing is a
I see.
mistake in the end. Everything is a lesson. Everything is something that you can grow from.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree, 100%, 100%. So yeah, so for
And
me,
it's daily,
gratitude is
sorry, one more thing. And it's
yeah,
daily practice,
daily
because
practice. Yes,
you
do it
don't
every day.
feel,
It's not a
you don't
yeah, it's
feel
not a once-off assignment.
exactly. You don't wake up, take your gratitude pill, and you're like, oh, now I'm feeling grateful. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work like that. No, I agree with that 100%, because here's the thing. Like, I'm not sure if you agree with me on this one, if we share the sentiments. But I believe that we want the things we want out of life for the feeling that they give us,
Okay.
not necessarily the thing itself. So you find out that the car, the house, the school you're gonna take your child to, the whatever it is that you want, if it's fame that you want for sure, if it's the master's degree, whatever, is for the life that it gives us, so that we can get a certain feeling out of that specific result.
Sure.
So what if we can go to the feeling before acquiring the thing? Why can't we practice that?
I mean, that's now on Oprah levels, isn't it?
Right?
So they say that your mind doesn't know the reality, or if you are implanting feelings and thoughts. So that's why meditation, manifestation is so important, right? So if you
Very
can
important.
position yourself in that feeling, if you can imagine what that feeling is,
Aha.
your mind
Aha.
doesn't know if you're sitting in that Lamborghini or
Yes.
you're just sitting, on top of a crate.
Yeah, it can't differentiate. Yeah.
Your mind can't differentiate that. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So I suppose
Yeah.
that's a really big thing when it comes to being able to lift your vibration and meditate towards more positive things.
Yeah, yeah,
But
for
then,
sure, man. Like,
you also can't
yeah.
sit and meditate and, and then send out your CV.
And like be like, yeah,
Exactly.
sure.
And not send out your CV, or not finish your course,
Uh-huh.
or not go to the gym. If I'm manifesting a six-pack. There are things
No.
you're going to have to do to support that. So I think that's
Yes.
incredible. So this is a question.
Yeah, because I think
Coach CD
Yeah.
says, sorry, Michael. What if we go to the feelings before we acquire the things that we want?
because that's what I was talking about. That's what I was asking you actually. What CD is asking, and then, as you know, Sister Nurvel, I've been mentoring a lot of people. So in my mentorship programs, as I mentor people, the thing that I always struggle to do was to make them aware of the fact that you must first know that you already are the person who's deserving of these things that you want.
Yeah.
And then knowing that you are the person who's deserving of these things that you want, and then you will then position yourself in a way that it will it will make you gravitate towards those things.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then going back to the thing that you said, Tori, you cannot just meditate and then not send out the CV. I think what we are missing is that we're doing these meditation things so that we can put ourselves in a state or the zone that will make us go for those things. The underlying thing is that we must still go for these things.
Yeah.
But the problem is that most of us are going for these things without the energy, or the energy that infuses our actions, without the energy that is enough, or that is good enough to actually materialize these things that we want. We don't meditate just so that things could just fall from the sky. We meditate so that we can put ourselves in a zone whereby we are effective when we get into those spaces where we want to manifest the things we want to manifest. Which now leads me to my second question that I wanted to ask you. This thing of energy, Sister, because I believe that whatever that we do, we need energy to do them.
Yeah.
You're taking the time to talk to me is energy. You're raising your boy is energy. You go on air, it's energy. Somebody comes and asks you for advices and whatnot, it's energy. So my question is that now, how do you make sure that you keep yourself fueled and you keep yourself energized all the time? Like, what do you do? Are there any rituals that you do? Is there any practice? Is there any routine that you follow? What?
Well, yes and no. So
Okay.
yes, in that.
I love the yes and no answer. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's life.
I used to give you that answer a lot. Every time you'll be like, okay, Tsepo, what do you think? And I'm like, okay, Sister, yes and no.
But
I like that.
I understand that, because that's life. Do I
Sure.
have a routine? Yes, I do. Am I able to live perfectly in my routine every day? Absolutely not.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
that's so true.
The intention is there, absolutely. And what I try to do is I try to set my day right by having just a tiny bit of quiet time, even if it's just a little bit of like a 1 minute, thank you God for today. Let's have a day. If there's anything that I know is going to be in my path that I need to have to be carried through, then I just lay that before, the universe, my God, and then I move forward. I know when I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I know that.
I see. Yeah. So, and then like just being observant enough of that. Yeah.
And then it doesn't take a spa day or going to the gym, or and it just like
Right.
and just
Right.
walk.
Yeah.
I can just walk here to the gate. I walk. I take a walk. I walk quietly, or I listen to some music. And I dance to the TikTok videos.
Is it?
And
Sure.
and then I come back and I sit and I tackle the issue. I mean, that's really all a person can do. I don't think that there's I don't know in what I am not in that
Yeah.
space yet. You know, when you have a very small kid or whatever it is, you can't just like, I'm going away for 2 weeks to
No.
regroup. Like,
You
no,
have no. You don't have that luxury.
you're gonna regroup exactly where you are. You see where you're sitting right
Yeah.
there? Regroup right there. Um, and if it is getting overwhelming, then I ask for help. So I'm not very good at asking for help. I'm very, very independent, and I'm very able to look after myself. And maybe it's like a pride thing also that I don't ask for help. Like, why must I?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
how.
Like I got this.
Yeah. So I'm learning more and more and more to ask for help.
I love that. I love that. I love that aspect. And then when you say you're learning more and more to ask for help, there's this other thing that I've been investing most of my time on, which is the concept of values, the values that we have that govern our life. And then with and then what I found out in every little bit of research that I've been doing is that our values, they choose us in a way more than we choose them. Like in a sense that there are certain things that happen in our life, and then maybe at the very early stages of our lives, and then they create this void or this gap that needs to be filled. And then as that gap is created, they create a value that you gravitate towards. Give you an example, you find out people who are in the business of healing people, they've been hurt a lot. You find out that people who are in a business of giving people hope, they grew up without any, so it creates the void. And then that void, as it's created, then it creates the value of wanting to give, wanting to be of service. And then, however, what I've learned, the most important thing that I've learned there is that some of these values are predicated on the foundation of fear than they are predicated on the foundation of love. So the ones that are predicated on the foundation of fear, they create a certain sense of wanting to be, validated all the time, wanting to be. So then if I have this value of giving all the time, what happens now is that because of it's predicated on fear, I do not take care of myself very well because of I just want to give without realizing that I'm giving from an empty vessel. And then now I'm like, okay, cool. What is it that should happen? Should my values change, or should my values, or what should I do? Then I realized, no, the value should not change. You should just make sure that your value is leaning against the wall of love, not the wall of fear.
Yeah.
So that so that you can tell a person that no, so that you can learn to use the word no, so that you can learn to use, you can tell a person when you find them abusive, you can tell them no, I find your words very, very abusive, and so on and so forth. So my question to you is that, especially in the field that you find yourself in, like you've been a public figure, you're a public figure for a lot of people, but it's impossible for you to be there for everyone's life. It's impossible, but how do you strike that balance to know whether you are being, like, you are not being there giving, or you are just taking care of yourself? How do you make the distinction?
I think I often believe that I'm fortunate because I have some years behind me.
I see.
I'm a little bit more mature, and I've been in the business for a while. I mean, there was a time where if somebody wanted to do an interview, say for a magazine or whatever, and they asked me very deeply, intensely, personal questions, I would find a way to answer and reveal my whole truth in my whole heart. And I started looking back and thinking, but where does that leave me in the end? Because you and I can have a conversation. My best friend and I can have a conversation, and I can reveal all of my fears and my aspirations and whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's in a place that is supportive and loving, right?
And safe, yeah.
90% of the people who are reading these magazines are just like trolls who are looking for something to come on. So it's like I'm saying, here, talk about me. And I sit back from that. So trial and error. And then I think a very important thing is to start to understand yourself, like to start to understand what feels correct. So if I'm doing something that feels outside, like for example, say you ask me to do this, and there's somebody else at the moment who wants me to do a live with them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
Sure.
I don't want to. And there's no like profound reason why. It just is so much effort to do it. I know I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to have to fake my way through it.
Man, it's how it feels.
And then I'm going to be so tired for the rest of the day because I was out of integrity. It's just going to be like, it's not worth it, you know?
And I think what you're saying goes back to your answer of taking care of your energy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Being just in touch, aligned, in touch, and not operating from fear. But then also not being afraid of, you know, sometimes you're going to have to do things, especially in the corporate world, in our entertainment world for sure, that you don't necessarily vibrate with. You can't necessarily always, you know, be completely perfectly everywhere perfectly. But I wanted to say what you were talking about, leaning against fear or leaning against
love.
So I always imagined that ego was where you're like walking around thinking that, you know,
like boastful, like showing your muscles and stuff.
But the ego also is in like really attaching yourself to what people say about you, like really like wanting approval. Like if you're desperate for approval, you're desperate for an outcome. Then you're operating in your ego, and
that's true.
It's such a dangerous place to be because it's about the external. It's about whatever, you know, the show is. It's not necessarily about whatever is in you.
It's inside. It's
very interesting when you're walking a path and you're like, boom, bam, awards or this, or you know, people get excited about a variety of things. You know, they want to show their new houses on Instagram. They want to have the ring on their finger or whatever it is that they want to do. If you're walking in that path, right, and you can feel that, guys, I'm not actually, like, I could be something, but it's not actually what I
It's not it. It's not it. Yeah.
Just watch. It's ego playing. And ego can be healed. It can be dismantled. And it doesn't mean that then you walk around with a small self-esteem. It just means that you're walking around balanced. You're in tune and in line with who you actually are.
Because on the other hand is that, like, the thing that I've find out about ego, sometimes, like the one that you're saying, you're taking the angle that you're taking it from, it can be very subtle. Like, it's not that loud.
Yeah.
You know, and then hence is very difficult to detect. So you can't see it just like, you know, because it's not that obvious, you know. And then the other thing is that, because ego, in my opinion, is nothing else but the facade that pretends to be you. Like, it's not you, it just pretends to be you. And then because it pretends to be you, it finds something that it can attach itself to so that it can keep on being alive. Because without attachment, ego cannot survive. So sometimes what it does, then it will attach itself to the fame, to the money, to the cars, to the girls, if you are a ladies guy, you know, so to whatever it is that it can find. And then once that attachment is not there, then the ego dies. But it will always find something else to attach itself to. So that's why when people lose their titles, they will attach themselves to the shame, kind of feel sorry for me type of a thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So you've got whatever it is, But then if it goes bad, or you hear people, I mean, all of us come from the dusty streets of something or another, right? So there's some people, we're all like dusty street. Hey, it's like dusty streets. That's that can be that's an ego response as well.
That's an ego thing. Ah, man, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that's an ego thing.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because people think, because I remember this like a mentor of mine said to me, he said, why are people, comfortable to talk about the dusty streets that they come from, but when they talk about the nice parts of their lives, it's seen as ego, but the other one is not seen as ego.
It all is about this facade, and it's about then what that facade brings to us.
To us, yeah. And then at the end of the day, because it is the one that is effective in bringing the attention to us. Because that's what ego is. Like, it wants the attention,
Yeah.
And then if me being rich is not going to bring the attention, then I must talk about how bad things are, and then how dusty my streets are, more dustier than yours. You know what I mean? Because it's nothing else but the ego. I love that. I love that. And I'm glad that we are unpacking it that way, so that people can be aware of the fact that anything that is, that is rhyming with the word attachment is really bad.
So explain to me what your thoughts are. Then, so we detach from ego, right? We detach from all of this that will bring us. I like to call it the show. Okay.
Sure.
So the My Streets Are Dustier show, or check out my Ben's show, whatever the show is. We detach from the show. What then are we? How do we feel grounded in who we are? What are the markers and signposts for that?
So normally, Sis Pabi, there's this psychological concept that they call it the, I think it was developed by this guy in Aristotle. He talks about he calls it, I remember the actual term, but he calls it the ultimate good living.
Okay.
Or the ultimate good life.
All right.
So what he's saying, it is that an ultimate good life is anchored or is predicated on what is meaningful to us. So what's meaningful to you is not what is meaningful to me. And then there is this thing that we call an orienting reflex. An orienting reflex is this thing in us that orients us to what matters to us. 10 things or 100 things can go wrong around you, but only 2 or 3 will get your attention.
Right.
Because there is something in you that is navigating you towards the thing that should matter to you. So what happens now, it is that with the ego will take you away from that, because it knows that that will bring you a step closer to finding who you really are.
And ego gets afraid. Ego doesn't want
it gets afraid. It gets afraid. So what it does now, it will throw like certain things in your attention. You will see certain things on Instagram or whatever. You'll be like, like Pabi's driving a Porsche. I should be driving that. Because now the ego is trying to take you away from the thing that matters the most to you. But your orienting reflex will always keep on trying to anchor you back to the things that matters to you. So what happens now is that, Sis Pabi, so when you are oriented to the thing that matters to you, you are forced to take the road less traveled, which is, somebody said that the road to enlightenment it passes through the passage of hell. That's why very few people are not enlightened. So if you check all the, like all the stories, the mythical stories that you can find, King Arthur or Hercules or whatsoever, all of these heroes, they had to go through this hell first before they could get their ultimate, whatever weapon or whatever the case may be, or the jewelry or the treasure or whatsoever. The treasure, you find out, is hidden. Their superpower. You find out that their superpower is protected by this giant dinosaur or whatsoever. You know what I mean? There's this big hell, dark thing that you need to pass through before you can get to that space. So the orienting reflex that I'm talking about, it is that normally it brings closer to you things that are not so nice, that are not so cute, so that you can actually dig deep and find who you truly are. And I'm sure, Sis Pabi, in your journey, there are certain burdens that you were like, man, should I really be carrying this? I want to find out now. You really have to. You have to
Yeah.
because of the universe is making you the person that you will love as yourself as well. Be like, I'm proud of this girl that I am today. I'm proud of this person that I am today. So back to answering you. Like I'm sorry, like I took a long drive,
No, I like
but
it a
back.
lot because now I'm thinking of King David. I'm thinking of
Aha,
the biblical
Joseph,
stories. Joseph.
Joseph,
I mean,
yeah,
Joseph. Goodness,
man,
his own brothers. His like
yeah,
Joseph. I'm
yes,
thinking of all of those things, and I'm also then what a natural thing that happens is that you start thinking about the giants in your own life, right? And so I'm
yeah,
thinking, what is it that is my what
giant
do you call it, the ultimate life, the good ultimate good life, like,
life, yeah,
so what is it? And I know that it doesn't mean that I'll be living here or driving that or whatever. It's that I
yes,
would like a certain feeling in my life. I would
yes,
like a certain perception of myself from myself in my life, right? And then so I think, okay, so that's where I want to be. And so then these giants are teaching me what are you teaching?
exactly.
Oh, and
Who's
then
your
once
Goliath?
you start working through what the Goliath is showing you, what it's teaching you, and then showing up every day as this new person, Okay, now I can bench press 50. Now I can bench press 150. Now I
Ah,
can bench,
man.
then you're getting closer and closer to that, what that thing. So I think that that's just so profound and so
Yeah,
perfect.
no, for sure.
I
So
like
the word I was looking for, Sis Babiki, is called eudaimonia.
Okay,
Eudaimonia, it means the ultimate good life.
okay.
So yeah, so because of what you're saying, it is that we don't get fulfilled from this cute bed of roses kind of a concept. No, we get fulfilled when we embrace both the dark side and the light side. And then I told people this thing, and then I once said this thing that was very controversial. I don't like to issue out controversial statements. I like I like to run away from controversy,
Okay.
by all the means. So, but I said the extent at which we do good is dependent on our ability or on our acknowledgement uh, of our capacity to do evil. So
All right, I'm
the
letting
ex,
it
the ex, yeah,
percolate. I'm
yeah.
trying to understand. Yes, yes.
So you'll find out that people who do good stuff in life, who happen to do good stuff in life, they
Yeah.
are the people who have admitted or accepted that they also have the capacity to do bad. So when you don't acknowledge that there is this part of you that is capable of doing things that you won't be happy for, then you become very cautious of what you do. You
Right.
become very cautious of who you talk to. Become very cautious of what you put into your body because of you know that in you there is a side that you might not like once it is actually provoked,
Ignited.
if I were
Yes.
to put it that
Yes.
way.
Yes.
So that is why we have people who committed suicide or who killed other people, and then you'd be like, who, Pabi? Like, are you serious? This Pabi who did that? You know, and it's because of some of those people they were not watching like closely. Like the fact that all of us have the capacity to do evil, but it's just that we need to choose to do good. And I think Maya Angelou put it very nicely. I forgot how she actually phrased it, but what she said is she put it in a way that she said, "I am you, you are me." You know, so she's like, "There's a part of me in you, and there's a part of you in me. Whether that part is a dark one or is a light one, but one way or the other, we are like I'm you and you are me." And then like yeah, so I like to always live like conscious of that thought. Yeah, it's possible that I might do things that I might not like at the end of the day. So that's why I watch myself closely. That's why I make sure that I talk only to people who are feeding that animal that I want to show up to the world. Not the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's ego death as well, because instead of prescribing what it is that you are, you understand that you are all of these things. And you just
Exactly, Sis
give
Pavi.
love to all of these things,
Exactly.
and forgive and love. Wow, that's so great. I love that. I love that so,
Yeah.
because ultimately, have you ever encountered somebody who you've never really had a conversation with, or maybe you've had like a, very superficial conversation with, and you just don't like them? Like you just
Yeah, sure.
okay. And then you realize the more you think about it, it's because that person is really a lot like you.
Ah, man, you got that.
Okay?
You got that.
And you're like, Batung. On every other level, anyone would imagine that we'd be friends. But why is it that I don't
Yeah.
vibe with them?
That's so true. A mentor of mine, we were in a session. It was like 12 of us in that session. And then what he did is like, okay, he said, write down on your paper, on a piece of paper, the name of a person in this group that you think will not get anything out of this session. Right?
Yeah.
Then you wrote the names. I'm like, okay, Pabi, she's not gonna get anything out of this because of she's talking too much or she's whatever, I think. And then she's like, okay, and it's like, okay, cool. Do you know why you wrote that down, like that name down? We're like, no. It's like, okay. The reason why you wrote that name down is because there is a certain part of you that you are recognizing in that person that that specific part won't get anything out of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
I was dabbing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you are so right. So, Sister, in closing, because I know you are a busy woman. Uh,
I
is
love it when
there?
people say that to me. Like, I love it. You are just I know you're so busy. You're so
No, you
busy
are.
all the time. Even in
No, you are.
lockdown, I'm just so busy all the time.
No, you are. You are. You are. And then like the thing is that I'm very cautious of that. And then that's why I'm so happy that you agreed to do this. Yeah, this it means the world to me. It means the world to me.
What a pleasure. And I think that I am a person who needs certain things in place for my discipline, right? So
Yeah.
there's a reason why
Sure.
I do what I do in my job, because
Yeah.
I have to speak to people like you, and I have to speak to the different coaches and the different psychologists and the people who are on air, because I know I have to put those things into place. Otherwise, Lynn and I can just go there and watch reality TV the whole day and not
So
actually
true.
feed my soul. So I know that there's a reason why you asked to do this. So
True.
I go towards the things that are also building me. So yes, I
Thank you.
appreciate your gratitude, but accept mine as well. I'm very pleased to have had this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my last question, I promise, is the last one. Unless if you say something that is so profound that will make me ask another one. But my last question is that of all the qualities that you believe you have, is there any one like number one quality that stands out that you would actually credit the things you're grateful for?
Whew. That I would credit the things I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I like that. So that quality, you give that quality credit for the things that you've achieved, that you are grateful for, that you've achieved.
Yeah, I'm not a quitter. I
Like that. Love that.
my teeth, my claws into the thing if I have to. I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I have the ability to say, you know what, I messed up. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do this. That was a wrong move. I'm sorry. And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna get back on that horse and I'm gonna learn. So I know that there's several spaces in my life. I can even think back to each of those spaces where I could have just quit.
Man.
I mean, I don't know where I would work in an office. I don't think I'd cope, to be honest. I like that level of routine or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a speaker and entertain. I'm supposed to be that, right? But I
True.
could have quit all of that out of fear, out of persecution. I've had tough times. So I think that that's the one thing that
Yeah.
that I definitely credit.
Yeah, the quality that you love about yourself. Yeah, that you're not a quitter.
I'm not
Man.
and I don't like things that have happened that are very difficult and that are embarrassing. But now I'm gonna pitch up the next day. I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know? Oh wow, we thought you died.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm not embarrassed. And it's not out, because there's some people who do that just to fight. But for me, it's a fight for life. Like, it's the breath in my lungs.
Yeah.
If I'm going to bury myself before I actually, am called to heaven, what's the point? What's the point of life?
Ah, man, what's the point? Yeah.
Some days I'm going to bury myself under the duvet and just be like, I can't. I'm just going to chill. But honestly, I get it from my parents, people who've lived through 76 in apartheid South Africa. Like, those people haven't quit. They don't quit. My grandmother, who's seen so many changes in the world and in life, and she doesn't quit. She's still standing. And so, who then am I?
Love that.
Who then am I?
I love that. I love that, Ms. Pabi. And then I think, in closing, talking about not quitting, I don't know if we share the same sentiments again. I think people should be aware of the fact that when we say you are not a quitter, it's not about the activities that get to the outcome you want. You're just not quitting the outcome, but the ways, the methods that you're using in order to get to the outcome might change. You might quit a thing that's not effective. You'd be like, this is not working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you are not quitting the motive that you are after. I think it's important to put the disclaimer out.
I think that is very important. Also, bad habits. If you have bad habits, quit those bad habits. It's but yeah, I won't. I think the word is resilience. That I'll bounce back.
Yes.
And I truly believe in that. And I think that it's also a muscle, because it's difficult to do. So the more you do it, the more strong you get.
Exactly.
And the
because you're working it every time. Yeah.
And also, yes, you're right. The routes to different places will be different. So, what I needed at age 18 is different to what I needed at age 27. Is different to what I need today. It's completely different.
True. I agree with you 100% on that.
Like, even in this conversation, so I'm in a lot of therapy, right? And I love being in therapy, and it's very useful and it works for me. But having conversations like this triggers something else in me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I could see when you're talking, I'd be like, okay, sis, but like there's something that clicked in her mind, and then it's so evident when I talk to you, like, okay. Like, you can see the electrical circuits connecting in your head.
I could never play poker because I my face. Thank you so much for this time. I've really loved so much time with you, and this really is living. If we're able to share what we've been able to learn, then that's also part of our ministry, however you want to describe that. And here
that's so true.
With 31 sets of eyes on us. I mean, this is
your ministry. It's beautiful.
I'm very
beautiful.
grateful. Thank you.
No, it's beautiful. And I was reading the comments. People are really loving this. They're like, wow, thank you so much. Thank you for this. It's profound. This is powerful. Let's have this more. Let's have this kind of conversations. People are happy about this. So it means that someone got something out of this. And then I definitely got a lot out of this
as well. This is so beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to all the coaches as well. So I mean, are there questions here? I've been questioning.
I've been trying to get questions. Actually, there are no questions. There are more of.
Oh, is it? So, sir, let me read it. It says, I've been questioning why someone would keep referring to the dusty streets while they're currently successful. That's very funny. Exactly. So that's that ego death that we were talking about.
Yeah, that's the ego thing,
Unofficial LZA says, but how important is this? Because we don't know which way things will go, and so you enter spaces of accountability. We build ourselves up only to bring it down. No one is perfect. How cool is it to have people who help us make the truest sense of our immediate world? Very nice. That's
very nice, very beautiful. Well put.
Look, there's a lot.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, sis.